Well, I hope the sound works on this one.
Can I hear you?
I don't know. Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So this one should work.
Well, I heard you last time too, but then when Faradun hooked on, then you didn't, I couldn't hear you anymore. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah. So I invited everyone and I sent that link.
Okay. Well, I had to get out of the other one to come into this one. So.
Oh, okay. So. Yeah, I don't know what was up with that. I haven't changed anything since then. Said my mic was on and everything. So it must have just been a bad call or something.
Hey, Brady.
Hey, Faradun. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Okay.
Good.
So now, Brendan.
Yep, we're just waiting on Brandon.
Oh, Brendan is not here now. Brendan is out. You see his message?
Yeah, Brandon's having trouble joining the call.
Yeah.
I'll send him an invite again, see if that helps.
If he call you, that might work. If you text him, he need to call you. I called you, that's why it works. So, yeah. If he go back to his group and then he calls, that might work.
Yeah.
Could you call to...
So I don't know if you guys have looked at it yet, but in the sample agenda, the person, whoever did the sample agenda, wrote down all the minutes also for the call to order, roll call, that stuff in the agenda. So I'm wondering if I need to be doing that as we go on with our meeting. Do you guys know?
Yeah, I did. You're talking about the plan, about the one which is interview plans and timing meeting.
Yeah. Did you look at the sample though?
Yeah,
Each
I
person.
think, yeah, I just did it on
I'll
the
just.
Thursday.
I guess I'll just do it as we go.
I guess I don't get it. Where's the questions? Where's the questions for the interview plans and timing?
You don't get the question?
Yeah, are you wondering what we have to answer for the interview plans and timing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little confused since I did like amazing agenda about this. So since I think we need to talk about the interview plans and about the time.
So I'm going to modules right now.
Here we go.
And I'm
Okay.
gonna look at it, but I think it explains it in the. If you go to modules and then what is it? Interview plans and timing meeting.
So
So yeah, that's going to be another meeting that we do on a call just like this. And it says we need to conduct mock interviews for each of the group members. In this meeting, we need to decide when each interview will be held, who will devise the questions for each interviewee, and who will the interviews be conducted, or where will.
Okay.
Yeah, so it tells you on the assignment.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll just have to
revise
this red agenda.
All right, so you finally made it in here.
Yeah, wow, this has been an ordeal. So.
Yeah, we were supposed to be done with our first meeting by now.
Yeah, exactly. I think this has been interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so should we start the first one?
So I guess we're ready to start. I'll call the meeting to order now. And everybody is here. And I don't know if you guys have looked at all the case studies for this part for the ethics meeting, but here, let me open it up real quick. In the agenda that I sent you guys last night, I kind of had some questions, I guess, to get us on track. Just start thinking about. And it seems like pretty much every case is kind of a situation, something you could probably get away with doing without your boss finding out, but it's kind of, we're discussing whether it'd be ethical to do that or not. So let's see. We're doing ethics case studies. All right, so for number one, Lakeisha is an administrative assistant in the Human Resources Department. Her good friend Michael is applying for a job with the company and has agreed to be a reference for him. Michael asked for advice on preparing for the interview. Lakeisha has the actual interview questions asked for all applicants and considers making him a copy of the list so he can prepare. So on my agenda, I wrote, just can you give a good friend company information to help them get a job, and how might this affect the interview process and the hiring committee's decision whether or not to hire this person?
Okay, so so this person would be more prepared than a normal interviewee. So since they have a connection into the business, it doesn't really exactly give a fair chance to all the applicants.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that kind of, I think a lot of an interview is trying to catch the person who's being interviewed kind of off guard and see respond in high stress situations, kind of.
Yeah.
I guess if they already have all the questions, then it wouldn't really make for a good interview.
Yeah.
You know exactly what they're going to be asked.
Yeah, ethically, it's not a good thing to do. No.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And then if we could elaborate a little bit more on that, of why it would not be just for the minutes on here.
Why it wouldn't be ethical. I can't. I'm put on the spot. I can't think right now. It's not fair to everybody else. You know, you can give your reference for your friend, but to give them the actual questions for the interview, it's just not right. It's not ethical.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just kind of an overall, just kind of unfair advantage.
Exactly.
The applicant or to other applicants. Okay.
Yeah.
And was there multiple parts that we have to answer to each of these questions on there, Brady?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at right now. It says identify the ethical quandaries for the individual in the case study and how they should proceed in the situation. So I guess in this situation, it just says that it never says she was thinking about it. It just says that or I guess it said she considered making him a copy of the list so he can prepare. So I guess we're supposed to answer the ethical quandaries for the situation and how they should proceed.
Yeah. So, I mean, so the quandaries would be that it gives an unfair advantage to her friend. And I mean, she shouldn't, give him the questions, just, keep it open and honest.
Yeah. Maybe she can give him kind of an idea of something they might ask, but
yeah, like especially being HR, you kind of, if they find out something like that, then it's not really the best situation to put yourself in.
Yeah, that could backfire on her too.
Yeah.
She could lose her job. Yeah.
All right. So for that one, I'm just kind of filling out how long each case is taking us because that's what I saw in the sample. So that's what we're supposed to do. So I'll just write down about 6 minutes for that one. And for case 2, we had Emily works in the quality control department once a year, whose supervisor gives away the company's used computers to the local elementary school. The company does not keep records of these computer donations, and Emily really needs a computer. Her supervisor asked her to deliver 12 computers to the school. So I'll just write down or list what I wrote for this. Just says Emily needs a computer. If she were to take one without her supervisor's knowledge, how would this describe her character? And talk about how else she could go about getting a computer. So this is kind of just asking, should she try and steal a computer from her company, basically, just in hopes that she wouldn't get caught, I guess, instead of donating to school. Yeah. So I think obviously she shouldn't steal from her company.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean that's also kind of because they're donating it to a school, So it's kind of you're stealing from a school and your company, so it's just kind of
And I'm sure it's documented somewhere. How many computers and.
Well, I think the thing says that it's not that they don't keep track of it, which
so that's
what would be enticing.
Oh, does not keep records of these computer donations. Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why I asked, how would this describe her character if she did decide to take a computer? So obviously that would be a bad thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of sneaky,
Yeah.
She could ask. It doesn't say, does she?
Yeah. Exactly.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
She could ask.
So I think if
she could have one.
If she has
the
the permission to have, so she can keep one, I think.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Like. So yeah, like I mean, a way to go about that to answer that part of the question would be that she could first ask if she could take one. If not, then like save money or something like that to buy a computer like anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. All right. All right. For the next one, we have Marvin is an assistant in the building services department. He has just arrived received a new work computer and is excited to try it out. His supervisor has a strict policy about computer usage for business purposes only, but Marvin wants to learn the email software. He figures one good way to do this is to send emails to his friends and relatives until he gets the hang of it. He has finished all of his work for the day and has 30 minutes left until his shift is over. His supervisor left early. So,
yeah, it is not a good idea to use like
Work email for personal use? No.
Yes.
yeah, no.
Yeah, like
There is no even any permission for this. There's always no. When I work, this is no. Don't
yeah, exactly. Like even if you got your work done and everything like that, and if you're at work, you just gotta, you know, like try and figure out the software at home or something like that. But and also like I mean you can browse around the emails and everything, like you don't necessarily need to send it to personal friends or something like that. And
Yeah.
if you want to send an email to someone, you know, you can send it to a coworker or supervisor, like keep it within work boundaries, you know.
Yeah, or you can even email it yourself, honestly.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like if you really want to get the hang of it, then you can just email yourself, respond to yourself, you know, whatever.
So yeah, again, all these questions seem to follow kind of the same thing. Can
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
get away with doing this without their supervisor finding out?
Mhm.
But kind of why shouldn't they do this?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I think the point for this assignment was kind of, it seems like maybe for us to figure out, because for each of these, I mean, for Emily, we were able to find out she could just ask her supervisor, and that would be the easiest way for her to get a computer.
Yeah.
Or for this one, he could just send an email to himself, kind of.
Mhm.
How can they still get done what they want to do
Yeah, exactly.
and not break any of the rules, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
Alright.
yeah, I mean that one just don't send personal emails, and you know there's other ways to learn the email system.
yeah. All right. And for case 4, Jenny was recently hired to work as a receptionist for the front lobby. As receptionist, she's responsible for making copies for the people in her office. Her son, Jason, comes in and needs some copies for a school project. He brought his own paper and needs 300 copies for his class. If he doesn't bring the copies with him, he will fail the project. The company copier does not require a security key, nor do they keep track of copies made by departments.
This one's a little bit different because I think you know like he's bringing his own resources and everything anyway, but at the same time the copier is supposed to be used for company use. So
Yeah.
I think that out of the ones that we've gone through so far, this one would be kind of the closest call, I think, in my opinion, at least.
Yeah. Especially since it's her son and she's not just trying to benefit herself.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, if your kid's about to fail his, you know, assignment, if he doesn't get it and you don't have any other way, then it just kind of it boils down to, are you going to be, you know, are you going to be a parent or a worker? And that's not exactly easy to say.
Always a parent first. At least I is.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was about to say, Deborah. Or actually, fair doing, you're a dad too, so.
Yeah, so I mean, I personally, if it was my kid, I would make the copies if he brought his own stuff. You know, like that just
Even buy
that's
some
just me.
toner.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Yeah, yeah. See. So I would say that it's okay to use this equipment, since you know I don't see too much harm in doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree for sure, especially if they bring their own copies.
Yeah, I mean, does anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, well, it's probably, it doesn't mention this specifically, but I'm assuming you probably only are supposed to use the copier for company purposes, but
Yeah,
it is
But
different if
depends
it's
on
kid and they're
location.
bringing their own
Yeah,
equipment.
depends on place where you work and what is the procedure.
So what was that?
As it also it depends on place where you work. In some
Mhm.
places they're super strict, in some places they don't care. So
yeah, and since it doesn't
depends on
specify,
workplace. Yeah.
you know, so a general agreement of it's all right to use.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so. Maybe not ethical, but would we all do it? Probably, yeah.
Yeah, maybe it's not something to do all the time, but if it's once, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah. All right. So for this next one, Nonye works in the customer service support department and spends a lot of his day responding to email. One day he got a message from an email address he didn't recognize. It said, I'd like to get to know you better outside of work. Nonye had no idea who sent it, so he deleted it. A few days later, he received another message from the same source. Nonye ignored the message again, thinking they would stop. He mentioned these emails to one of his coworkers, who responded, "You're lucky to have a fan." The messages continue to come every few days, and he's feeling pretty weirded out.
It's a little creepy, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Well, he could block the email. I mean, if he wanted to, right?
Yeah. If I was him, I would report it to like, supervisor or something like that, because just because you block somebody doesn't necessarily mean that they can't get to you in real life. Like they could have you never know. So I think I would report it or something like that.
Yeah. But it did mention that his coworker just said, "You're lucky to have a fan." So I was almost wondering if maybe it's his coworker.
It could be his coworker. I would that might be something to go to HR about or something like that.
Yeah,
exactly. If they say coworker, then there's not really that. There's not like a different levels of management there, so it's a little bit different, I guess. It's not taken that seriously.
Yeah. But that's even more reason to bring it up to a supervisor, HR, or whoever you're going to tell. And so, yeah, I guess just bring it up to a supervisor.
Yeah, and just handle it from there.
Yeah. So does anyone else have anything to add to that?
No, I think that works. Bring up this to your supervisor, and he will tell you what to do next.
Yeah. All right, so I'm finishing up this agenda.
Okay.
And so I guess if you guys are all ready, we can end this meeting and get to the next one. Faradun, you're going to be leading.
Do we have to end this call to separate the meetings, or can we just do it at once?
We can keep as one.
Well, we have to.
I'm just thinking for submission purposes.
Exactly. We have to submit them separately. So.
Okay.
So so I think that would we have to restart the call then?
Yeah. So how do you start the call? How do you do that process?
What I did.
Yeah.
I just Googled how to do Hangouts on Air, and I can actually post the link in the chat, and it gives you a link to click on, and then you just kind of got to follow it from there.
Okay, yeah, that'd be good.
So
and I also don't think that anybody specifically has to be the one that submits it. I think as long as it gets submitted, it doesn't necessarily have to be the leader of it.
Yeah.
Because I just saw
they have to be separate, though. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as they're separate, but I don't think that the leader has to be the one that submits it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if I could just start another one right after this, if you guys want me to.
Yeah, let's start another one.
Yeah. All right. I'll end this one right now, and I'll call you guys all back in a second.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right. Bye.
Bye.